I'd like to share with you about Horace Rockwell, Elizabeth Lusk, Dana Rockwell. They were born in 1825, 1826 time period in New York. They traveled quite a bit in their life. They went from New York to Wisconsin to Nauvoo, Illinois. We see records in between 1836 and 1849 that they were there with their family. From what I've been able to gather, they had at least 4 children, maybe 5. I don't know about how long each of the children were with them on their journey, but I do see that they went to California, to Alameda, California, and they stayed there for a while. And in 1861, they came out back to Utah to work through the Pony Express time period, and they had a ranch afterward for quite a few years before they went back to California. Horace died in 1893 in Utah and was taken back to California, and his wife died in 1901 and was in California at that time. They have at least 3 to 5 children, and you see them in and out through the censuses. And so I'm not going to tell you all about the kids because I need more research. But they were a really fun couple to follow. They're quite characters. Horace was Orrin Rockwell Porter's younger brother of about 15 years.
A lot of people go out and look at the Pony Express Trail and just think it's a dirt road going between Vernon and California. But actually, it used to be the main highway between Salt Lake and California. It was called the Overland Wagon Road between there, and there was a lot of famous people that used to go on that stagecoach. And later on, the Pony Express used that road to go between St. Louis and California. So anyway, back in the 1860, when the Pony Express was in full swing, they only got to run 18 months, and then the telegraph went through, and they decided to stop the Pony Express because they could use the stagecoach line and the telegraph line to do the mail. So they discontinued the Pony Express. And about a year later, the Lookout Pass cabin was destroyed by somebody, and so Libby and her husband decided that they were going to come over and put a ranch in there. Well, at that period of time, Harris, his brother had a ranch out by Government Creek and Indian Mountain, which was right in the middle of where the Indians lived, and they didn't really seem to bother him. But so anyway, later on, Libby told Harris's brother that she wanted her $500 that he owed her, and she said, "If you don't give me my $500, I'm going to cut your hair off." Well, this guy that she was talking to was famous for having long hair. In fact, he was the first sheriff of Utah Territory and his name was Orrin Porter Rockwell. Now, Orrin Porter Rockwell raised horses out there and a few cows, and later on he moved over to Overlook Pass and the station, and the reason they called it Overlook was because it overlooked the whole area out there, but the Pony Express riders called it Lookout Pass because you had to go through that area, that 100 miles, as fast as you could, or that you'd get trapped by the Indians. So they said that's why it was called Lookout, so that they could look out. So later on, Libby had her dogs, and she had a few dogs, and they were mostly they were kind of a hunting dogs, black and tans and lion hounds and different kind of dogs, and she named her dogs after famous people. And the first one of her dogs' name was Josephine Bonaparte, and her other dog was Toby Tyler. Toby Tyler was a little boy that was in a book back in the 1860s, and so she named her dogs after these famous people. And it was said that she treated her dogs better than she did humans. One time one of her dogs got really sick, and she sent word over to Tooele to the doctor to come and take care of her dog, and he told her no, because he wasn't going to ride 70 miles to take care of a dog. So she sent word back to him that one of her employees there at the ranch was really sick, and the doctor needed to come. Well, he got over there and found out that she told him a story, and it wasn't their farmhand that was sick, it was one of her dogs, and he was a little upset about that, but she gave him a $20 gold piece, and so he was okay with it. But Orrin Porter Rockwell, he was quite well known back in those days. He was they used to call him the Destroying Angel, and he was bodyguard for Joseph Smith, and then later on he was a bodyguard for Brigham Young. And he lived right there on the Overland Trail, which was the road, so if anybody robbed the wagon train or the wagon, he would be right on their tail. And it was told that he never let anybody get away, and most of the time he'd just bring them back dead. And instead of bothering with them, he just brought them back dead. They were a lot easier to handle. And it was said that he used to say, "I never killed anybody that didn't need to be killed." And that's the same thing John Wayne said in one of his movies, and I think he probably got that from old Porter. But anyway, Porter was born June 28th, 1813, and he died June 9th, 1878. He died in a kind of a delivery stable or a place there in Salt Lake after he'd gone to a theater. But anyway, he was told by Joseph Smith, as long as he never got his hair cut, that he would never have to worry about being killed. So that's why he was a little upset with Libby for telling him that, for her telling him that she was going to cut his hair off. So anyway, there's a few books out on Porter Rockwell. He's probably one of the most important sheriffs that ever was in Utah Territory back in the 1860s and 70s and 80s, before he died.
Well, what Mark Twain had to say was, every neck is stretched and every eye is strained. Across the endless prairie, a black speck appears. In a second or two, it becomes a horse and a rider, rising and falling, sweeping towards us, growing more and more distinct. And in a flutter of hooves comes faintly to the ear. Another instant, a whoop and a hurrah from our upper deck, a wave of the rider's hand, but no reply. A man and a horse burst past our excited faces and go winging it away like a belated fragment of a storm. And that was a statement by Mark Twain called Roughing It. He wrote it in 1872, but he came up with the premise while traveling on the overland stage in the summer of 1861. So Mark Twain was actually physically at this spot. And one of the things that it's really difficult to see, and if we get the footage from the dash cam and stuff on our trek today, it's really hard to appreciate. We're on a maintained county road, and we're maintaining our history. We're upkeeping the heritage of the West. But the thing that you just don't see and you can't appreciate until you're not in the driver's seat and you're able to look out over the vast plain, you start to realize that it's 15 to 20 miles between each station. But what you don't see are those subtle 4 to 6 foot rises and falls and dips and washes and natural erosion that these young men had to deal with every time they ran from station to station, and the toll that it would take on a human's body, let alone a horse's body, to just simply go that 15 miles. We've covered 5 stations today in less than 3 hours. In 1861, the stagecoach driver left the Fish Springs station at 7 a.m. and arrived at this station 5 hours later at noon. So we don't take into consideration all of the amenities that we have in our lives that make things so much easier. It's not much for us to think, oh, I need.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Simpson Springs, one of the western outposts of the Pony Express Trail. This was active from 1860 to 1861. About, April 10th, 1860 to October 22nd of 1861, at which time the telegraph connection was made and made the Pony Express for communications no longer viable economically. But this station is important because it marks one of the west boundaries before water became extremely scarce. If you pan across this valley, the basin of the old Lake Bonneville, you can see the terrace levels, but nearly no sign of water as far as you can see. Simpson Springs is right over here, and from here west to Sacramento, across the west Utah desert and Nevada, water was scarce and it had to be transported both for man and animal. And this station was quite important. They rode both directions, east and west. So they ended up transferring at different hours from late in the afternoon till 2 a.m. in the morning to shift their horses to fresh animals. The horses that they used in this section had to be extremely durable and long-lasting, where normal horses that were ridden in the West could travel a decent distance. It took the Mustangs from the West out here that were uniquely adapted to the harshness, the terrain, and the lack of water to be able to make the connections between about Reno, Nevada, the Sierra Nevadas, this way to the east through Simpson Springs, then up the canyon up the draw, we start running into a little more water and better conditions. But this was an extremely barren and desolate area. Okay, we're at our next Pony Express station. This is the Fish Springs station. One station nearly due west of Black Rock. When we move over a little bit more to the north, you'll be able to see line of sight from one Pony Express station to the other, but they had to take a bit of a circuitous route to get here because between point A and point B where we are now is nothing but alkaline salt flats and marsh and bog. So man on foot or horseback would have a very difficult time at any time of year making a straight line from Black Rock to Fish Springs. So they had to circumnavigate around to the south side and come back almost direct due north to the next station of Fish Springs. The other interesting part here is for your botanists and plant lovers, here's the famous ephedra or Brigham tea, which was a prime drink of a lot of the early pioneers, and including the guys on the trail that need a little extra boost on the Pony Express. Lots of much larger plants, but one of them right next to the monument is ephedra or Brigham tea. Here you go.
Now we're going to talk about Callao. Now, Callao is probably about 40, 60 miles, 70 miles from the Overlook Station. It's another station that you wouldn't think it was going to be there, because you get driving those dirt roads and it's desolate and it's dusty and there's hardly a sagebrush grows out through there, and then you come around the mountain there and drop into a little valley of Callao, and it's just like you dropped into another world. There's great big hay fields with alfalfa growing up clear to your waist, and I think when I went through there was eight ranchers that lived out there, and they had some beautiful farms out there, and everything was all green and nice, and there was big trees, and they had a school out there, and it was really nice. It's probably about 40, 50 miles from Wendover. If you go down south and then cut back to the east a little bit, you'll go through the Oberlin Canyon and drop right into Callao there, and it's a beautiful place out there. The only thing missing is a Kmart. It's really beautiful out there. So if you ever want to go see a pretty place out there, that would be Callao. So anyway, we'll end this one right here.
One of the places that I really enjoyed on the Pony Express was Canyon Station. It was up on a point that you could see off every direction. It was just amazing. It was so neat. It had a fort that had a circular area with gun ports through it. It had, at one time, a blacksmith shop. This was an interesting area that they chose because of the Indian conflict that was happening back and forth. and they had to get the mail through. California was important back to get to the information back and forth to Missouri. The fun thing I saw about it was that the landscape, you can at that point actually see how rugged it was coming through. It lifts you up enough that you see how amazing what those people had to go through to ride that trail. And so they had to carry water to that point. This is where they refreshed the riders, the horses. They exchanged them. One of the fun things that I thought I read about was those riders had to live within 100 miles of each station. That's a pretty long ways to get to work and back on horse, and yet you drove 20 miles one way and then curried back the other direction. It was quite a neat system that they had. The Pony Express didn't last that long because the railroad came through, and it took a better place to go.
Small town, big heart, building dreams that always fall apart. Slow days, fast cars, nowhere to go, so we stay where we are. There's only one way in and one way out. Seems like it's always cloudy in this town. I'll find sunshine in the rain. I'll let the storm wash me away to the other side of that one-stop sign. We've been scared of our whole lives. I'll find hope in lonely days. I'll find sunshine in the rain. Dad's gone, 9 to 5. Works real hard at keeping on the lights of that neon sign. Mom's glued to the TV, all her answers laid out on the screen, watching Jeopardy. The weather lady's nowhere to be found, 'cause it's always cloudy in this town. I'll find sunshine in the rain. I'll let the storm wash me away to the other side of that one-stop sign. We've been scared of our whole lives. I'll find hope in lonely days. I'll find sunshine in the rain. Everywhere I look is black and white, but I've been chasing rainbows my whole life, 'cause I see sunshine in the rain. I'll let the storm wash me away to the other side of that one-stop sign. I've been scared of my whole life. I find hope in lonely days. I find hope in lonely days. I see sunshine in the rain. I'll find sunshine in the rain. I see sunshine in the rain.